So the excerpt I chose to do a mini lesson over is from I Can Make This Promise by Christine Day. A little backstory before the quote is that Edie is Native American. Her mom was adopted and doesn't know her birth parents, and so Edie has no really idea about her cultural heritage in the past and her family or anything like that. And so that's something she's always been curious about. But this is them on 4th of July, and they go to an Indian reservation to watch fireworks because fireworks aren't allowed in their neighborhood. And so the quote says, "As we keep moving, I can't help but drink it all in. I've never been to a reservation before. Each person I make eye contact with feels significant. It's possible some of them are distant relatives. I could be walking past cousins or aunties right now, and I wouldn't even know it." So the text that I chose for this was ELA 48D, which is the student is expected to explain the influence of the setting, including historical and cultural settings on the plot. So we would explain that Edie knows her mother is adopted and doesn't know her birth parents, and being Native American but not knowing their Native American family and history has always been hard on Edie, not knowing where she came from, who she came from, anything like that. And so the setting for this is very important because a reservation is filled with Native American families, and the cultural impacts it has on Edie is a lot. And you can tell in this excerpt where she says, like, "I can't help but drink it all in," right there, that she feels comforted right there. Like, she knows that this is where she belongs in a sense. It makes her feel at home. But also at the same time, she seems very lost when she says, "I could be walking past cousins or aunties right now, and I wouldn't even know it." So to not know, where you come from, who you come from, or your family and their background, you can tell that she feels lost. And this setting has a lot to do with it because they are Native American. So being on a reservation with all that rich history and culture can impact her feelings and her point of view on everything a lot. If you read more into the book and the setting, there are more examples, but I thought this was a great one because she's drinking it all in. She's never been on a reservation, and you can see her raw feelings right there at this moment. And so for this, I would use this to have the students kind of see how, if she was somewhere else and said, "I don't know any of my family," it doesn't really have that much of an impact. But being on that reservation, knowing the person next to you could be your cousin or aunt, that's very significant. And that setting, being right there at that reservation, impacts her and her thoughts and feelings in that moment a lot. And so for a lesson, I would have the students write about a place that is significant to them and why it's significant and how they feel being there. That I feel like can give them a personal connection to the setting and to make them realize why setting is such an important part of their life.